Everything was quiet in a police station until a boy burst in screaming desperately, "Please, arrest my father." What no one could imagine was that the reason behind this request would even leave the toughest policeman with tears in his eyes on that hot Wednesday morning. What seemed to be just another peaceful morning at the police station in the small town of São Jose was abruptly interrupted by an event that left everyone present astonished and anxious. While the police officers enjoyed their moments of break, enveloped by the usual routine, the arrival of a little boy with frightened eyes and a terrified expression completely changed the scene. The door of the station creaked open, revealing the fragile figure of Liam, a 6-year-old boy with dark hair and eyes swollen from crying. His hurried steps echoed in the environment as he urgently made his way to the reception desk. Each beat of his little feet on the ceramic floor seemed to echo like an alarm signal, announcing the imminent problem. Upon reaching the desk, Liam clung to it firmly, his small hands trembling as he desperately tried to get the attention of the adults present. His plea, filled with anguish and fear, shattered the silence of the station like thunder on a sunny day. "Please, arrest my father," he pleaded, his trembling voice echoing through the walls of the room. Liam's statement caused a frenzy among the police officers. The initial shock gave way to an urgency to understand the situation and act in response to the child's desperate plea. Elizabeth, a young police officer with a gentle and maternal look, rushed to comfort the boy. She enveloped him in her arms, leading him to a nearby bench, trying to calm him with soft words and reassuring gestures. While Liam sobbed, his heart racing and his eyes brimming with tears, Elizabeth tried in vain to get information about what had happened. With a calm but concerned voice, she asked, "What happened, sweetheart? You're safe now. Can you tell us what happened?" However, the boy remained clinging to her shirt, his frightened gaze unyielding. Meanwhile, in the corridors of the station, an aura of confusion and apprehension spread among the police officers. Worried murmurs filled the air, accompanied by uneasy glances exchanged between them. The question hung in the air: what did this boy's father do? The minds of the police officers were filled with concern and curiosity as they eagerly awaited more details that could shed light on the situation. What could have prompted Liam to make such a distressing request? What could be the secret behind those frightened eyes and abundant tears? These were the questions echoing in the minds of everyone present at the station at that moment. And, as the mystery unfolded, a sense of urgency and determination took hold of the police officers, driving them to seek answers and ensure the safety of the child, even if it meant facing uncomfortable truths and unexpected challenges. Tension hung in the air of the precinct, every second feeling like an eternal suspense, as the concerned and curious police officers tried to unravel the mystery behind Liam's anguished words. The figure of Officer Elizabeth, kneeling beside the boy, was an image of compassion and determination, her hands attempting to wipe away the tears that stubbornly continued to stream down the boy's face. His desperate plea echoed in the minds of all present, challenging their understanding of how such a young child could carry such a heavy burden. Meanwhile, Sergeant James, an imposing figure with his gray hair and neatly trimmed mustache, rose from his desk, displaying a mix of firmness and concern in his gaze. His careful approach as he approached Liam revealed the sensitivity behind his authoritative facade. "Good morning, young man," he began, his calm voice contrasting with the turmoil reigning in the precinct. "What brought you here alone? Why did you come to us?" His voice, laden with genuine concern, sought to understand what led the boy to seek refuge in the precinct. Liam's breath was interrupted by sobs, his still swollen eyes bearing witness to the emotional turmoil he was going through. Despite the reassuring presence of the officers around him, the boy seemed to feel vulnerable and cornered by the gravity of his situation. As more officers approached, forming a semicircle around him, the atmosphere in the precinct became even more laden with tension and anticipation. Liam tried to articulate the words that seemed to be stuck in his throat, but his voice came out muddled and trembling. "He has to be arrested," he murmured, his words echoing like a reflection of the fear permeating the environment. The boy's statement only heightened the urgency to understand what was happening. With a cautious gesture, Elizabeth and Sergeant James decided to lead Liam to the interrogation room, hoping to obtain more precise information and help the boy express what was troubling him. Inside the interrogation room, Liam seemed to find a brief relief as he sat in the chair, while Elizabeth attempted again to extract crucial information. "What did your father do, Liam? Did he hurt you?" Her voice, gentle and compassionate, contrasted with the seriousness of the moment. The boy's face twisted in an expression of frustration, revealing the internal struggle he was having to find the right words. "Daddy gets angry sometimes," he murmured, his voice heavy with sadness and confusion. Uncertainty hung in the air, leaving everyone present anxious for clear answers. Sergeant James, sensing the need to address the issue delicately, leaned towards Liam, meeting his eyes with empathy and understanding. "We're going to help you, Liam," he said softly, his voice conveying reassurance and support. "But I need you to try to tell us with more details, okay?" The boy's response was a slow nod, his eyes still misty, reflecting the emotional battle he was facing. As James carefully formulated his questions, seeking to simplify the process for the boy, the minds of the officers worked frantically, trying to piece together the puzzle of this dark mystery. Liam's anguish and the seriousness of his words made it clear that something serious was happening behind the seemingly tranquil walls of that small town. What could have led a father to instill such fear in his own child? Was it domestic violence, emotional abuse, or something even darker? The questions echoed in the minds of the officers, fueling the urgent need to uncover the truth and ensure Liam's safety. And as the interrogation continued, the mystery only deepened, leaving all involved with an unsettling sense of uncertainty and determination to unravel the secrets behind the anguished words of a frightened child. The atmosphere in the precinct was fraught with tension and urgency as the police officers tried to decipher the turbulent story unfolding before them. Liam's account, still trembling and with eyes swollen from tears, was a puzzle of emotions and disturbing details, leaving everyone present anxious for answers and determined to act in the boy's best interest. Sergeant James and Officer Elizabeth remained focused on understanding Liam's confused narrative, seeking to unravel the secrets behind the boy's trembling words. Meanwhile, Liam, with his voice still choked up, gradually revealed the events that had led him there. "My dad is at home sleeping," he murmured, his words tinged with a resignation beyond his tender age. "I unlocked the door and ran here." The simple yet loaded account sparked a new wave of concern among the officers. Officer Elizabeth's next question was direct and painful. "Is your dad very aggressive, Liam? Does he hit you?" The boy, visibly disturbed, took a moment before responding, as if reliving the moments of anguish in his mind. "Yes, sometimes," he replied, his wide eyes reflecting the fear still lingering in his memory. The confirmation of the violence Liam had endured only intensified the officer's determination to intervene and protect the boy. "And your mother, where is she?" Elizabeth asked. "Daddy said she went to visit Grandma and never came back," Liam murmured, his words echoing in the room like a reflection of the mysteries surrounding his family. As James and Elizabeth continued the interview, seeking more information about Liam's family situation, a team of officers was already in motion, ready to act. The vague directions provided by the boy were enough for the officers to quickly identify the location of his house, not far away, near the sewer. Mention of Liam's absent mother left everyone there perplexed, further fueling the intrigue surrounding the dark story unfolding before them. As the truth began to emerge, the officers prepared to face the unknown, aware that they were dealing with a delicate and potentially dangerous situation. The precinct, once a place of calm, was now immersed in frenetic activity. The sergeant picked up the radio, his firm voice echoing through the rooms as he coordinated the team's response. "Attention unit, we have code 35R for domestic violence report. Don't let the man escape. Proceed with caution." The sergeant's words were a grim reminder of the gravity of the situation and the need to act with determination and caution. As the team prepared to head towards Liam's house, the boy continued to recount the events that had led him there. "Every night he gets angry," he confessed, his trembling voice laden with pain and fear. "He says he can't take it anymore." The revelation only fueled the officers' determination to intervene, aware that they were dealing with a cycle of violence that needed to be broken. As Liam's story unfolded, the mystery surrounding his family only deepened, leaving everyone involved with a sense of unease and determination to unravel the dark secrets hiding behind the walls of that small town. And as the team prepared to face the unknown, Liam's future and the outcome of this story remained uncertain, shrouded in a veil of suspense and intrigue. In the apparent calm of that morning, while Liam sought refuge in the precinct, his father, William, plunged into a deep sleep, oblivious to the whirlwind of events about to unfold upon him. The scene unfolding in the man's house was a dark reflection of his own existence, a place worn down by the passage of time, where the wooden walls were corroded and some cobwebs dared to occupy forgotten corners. Shrubs grew wildly around the house, lending an aura of abandonment and mystery to the environment. William's abrupt awakening was accompanied by the shrill sound of police cars approaching, announcing the imminent arrival of chaos at his doorstep. The sight of the police officers, horrified by the deplorable condition of the residents, only intensified the sense of inevitability hanging in the air. Without ceremony, they advanced, breaking down the front door and invading the space with a cold, relentless determination. Still dazed from sleep and confused by the sudden intrusion, William barely had time to articulate a question before being subdued by the police officers. "What's going on? Why am I being arrested?" he exclaimed, his voice laden with disbelief and desperation. The officer's response came like a blow, echoing in the worn walls of the house. With a firm and procedural voice, they informed him of his rights as they handcuffed him and led him to the police car, each word a sentence sealing his fate. Panic seized William as he realized the gravity of the situation. No, I didn't do anything," he protested, his voice wavering, echoing in the empty room. But his pleas fell on deaf ears as the officers escorted him to the vehicle, heading into the unknown. "Please, I have a little son. I can't leave him," pleaded William in terror. "Your son Liam is already at the station," responded the officer with a cold voice. The harrowing thought of his son, Liam, at the precinct only intensified the whirlwind of emotions consuming him, fueling the fire of despair burning in his chest. Back at the precinct, the arrival of the team that had gone to Liam's house was awaited with palpable anxiety. The tense silence filling the room was interrupted only by the distant roar of the car engine, announcing the imminent arrival of the officers and William. When the door finally opened, the scene that unfolded before the onlookers' eyes was a mixture of surprise and perplexity. The man who emerged from the vehicle was far from the threatening image many had expected. His skeletal and disheveled figure, with pale skin and tired eyes, was more a picture of suffering than of violence. The worn and dirty clothes he wore told the story of a life marked by adversity and constant struggle. The confusion and despair painted on William's face were palpable as he desperately sought to understand the situation. "What's going on? Why am I here?" he pleaded, his voice trembling with uncertainty and fear. When his eyes finally met Liam's, a wave of relief and concern washed over him, and the boy, seeing his father in that state of vulnerability, didn't hesitate to run towards him, seeking comfort and protection in the arms of the man who, for a moment, seemed more a victim than an aggressor. In that moment of intertwined emotions and surprising revelations, the atmosphere in the precinct shifted once again, this time into a silence heavy with understanding and compassion. The warm embrace between father and son, punctuated by their silent tears, broke through the barriers of the unknown, revealing a painful and touching truth. The sergeant, still perplexed by the turn of events, approached Officer Oliver in search of answers. "I thought he was abusing the boy," he murmured, his voice laden with disbelief. Confusion reigned in everyone's minds as the father, still trying to process the situation, demanded clear answers and justifications for his unexpected arrest. Liam's determined and hopeful gaze cut through the silence in the room, echoing like a signal that something much more complex was unfolding at that moment. "It was me who told them to arrest you, Dad," confessed the boy, his eyes seeking his father's in search of understanding. The revelation left everyone present stunned, struggling to assimilate the truth behind the boy's innocent words. While the father desperately tried to understand the motive behind his son's action, the atmosphere in the precinct grew increasingly dense, imbued with the weight of emotions and the urgency of an explanation. "Why? What did I do to deserve this?" questioned the man, his heart racing erratically in the face of the uncertainty looming over him. Liam's response came as a painful revelation, shedding light on the tragedy unfolding behind the scenes of that small town. "I just wanted you to eat, Dad," confessed the boy, his words carrying a weight that no child his age should bear. "I saw on TV that prisoners get 3 meals a day," the boy added, his voice hopeful. The revelation echoed in the room, leaving everyone present speechless in the face of the magnitude of the sacrifice made in the name of love and survival. The tears streaming freely down the boy's face bore witness to the pain and anguish he carried, a burden no father should allow his child to bear. His painful memory recalled the night he had heard his father's lonely sobs in the kitchen, the sound of the empty fridge echoing like a cruel reminder of his daily struggle for survival. Faced with Liam's devastating revelation, William had no choice but to share the true extent of his struggle. He explained how he had been facing serious financial difficulties since his wife's death, taking on the responsibility of raising his son alone. Out of fear of the boy's reaction, he told him that his mother had gone to visit his grandmother and never came back, but he didn't imagine that it would be worse, because it generated hope in the boy that she would return. His lack of education and months of unemployment only exacerbated his precarious situation, leaving him unable to provide his son with the most basic needs. The commotion in the precinct was undeniable as everyone present tried to come to terms with the tragedy unfolding before them. William's silent sacrifice in the name of his son's well-being was proof of the unwavering love he harbored for him, proof that even in the darkest moments, the light of hope and compassion could still shine. As the truth unfolded before them, William and Liam's story emerged as a testimony to human resilience and the strength of the family bond. And as the precinct room filled with the echo of father and son sobs, one question persisted in everyone's mind: how could they help this family find a path to light in the midst of the darkness that surrounded them? Nights, for William, were a plunge into the abyss of despair. After putting Liam to bed, he found himself confronted with the harsh reality of his daily struggle for survival. On one of those dark nights, the emptiness of the fridge echoed the lack of resources, while frustration overflowed and manifested in a desperate knock on the door, accompanied by anguished cries. "Why? Why is there no food? Why can't I feed us?" Desperation flooded the small kitchen, casting shadows over a father's solitary struggle to feed his son. Liam, awakened by the commotion in the kitchen, witnessed his father's despairing scene, his childish mind absorbing the weight of the situation. The anguish plastered on the man's face resonated in the boy's soul, causing him to retreat to the relative comfort of his room. However, the sight of that moment of despair left an indelible mark on his mind, feeding a growing concern for the hunger haunting his father. As the boy returned to his bed, he sought refuge in the colorful and animated images on TV. But even there, in a world of fantasy, the cruel reality of hunger persisted. As he waited for his favorite program to start, the boy ended up watching a story on the local news about prison living conditions. The words of the news anchor echoed in the boy's mind, prompting an unexpected connection. The idea that prisoners received 3 meals a day was like a revelation to Liam, a seemingly simple solution to a complex problem. Driven by a pure desire to alleviate his father's suffering, the boy decided to act, fueled by the belief that prison could offer the much-needed sustenance for both of them. Liam's innocence and pure-heartedness echoed through the precinct space, leaving everyone present stunned by the magnitude of his sacrifice. The tears streaming down William's gaunt face reflected the intertwined pain and love he harbored for his son. The scene moved the officers, many of whom were parents, confronting them with the brutal reality of the struggles faced by many families in the community. The release of William and Liam marked the beginning of a new journey for the pair, a journey propelled by the generosity and compassion of those who witnessed their story. The next morning, William was surprised by the unexpected arrival of community members at his door, carrying the warm embrace of solidarity and some resources they could raise to help them. This gesture gave William a promise of hope amidst the darkness of adversity. Shortly after, the sergeant, with an affectionate smile, knocked on William's door saying that they needed a janitor to take care of the station maintenance, and asked if William was interested. William, still in disbelief about what was happening, responded yes, symbolizing a fresh start for him and Liam. As the family adjusted to their new reality, the community rallied in a collective effort to offer support and assistance to those in need. The simple act of a child, motivated by love for his father, triggered a chain of kindness that swept through the town, inspiring everyone to rise up in solidarity with one another. As days turned into weeks, Liam and William's story became a powerful testament to human resilience and the transformative power of love and empathy. The simple act of a child, motivated by the desire to alleviate his father's suffering, reverberated far beyond the precinct walls, leaving an indelible mark on the community and beyond. And so, amidst the darkness of adversity, a light shone, illuminating the path to a future of hope and compassion. If you like the story, I'm sure that one of the videos that is here on the screen will move you too. But before you click, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our next videos. A big hug and see you in the next story.